then we should be live very shortly. And let's see, I'll get this thing tweeted out and everything else. Weaver, did you do anything for New Year's or Christmas?
Not really. I was just trying to slow down a little bit because obviously I keep saying I really haven't felt well this fall, this winter. And I think really what the doctor ordered was just me staying home, playing video games, binging some Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Let's see.
I hear you. I started rewatching The Punisher. Damn, that's a good show.
I've yet to watch Punisher, but I went through and rewatched with Cass because I had introduced her to it. We had watched all of Daredevil, and we watched The Defenders.
All right. Rock on.
I don't really
There's
know
a lot there.
There is a lot there.
Have you seen those, Sherwin? Defenders or Daredevil?
No, actually, I have not. I mean, I only dip my toe into Marvel a little bit. I don't go whole hog, so to speak. So, like, I mean, I really liked, what was the one with, Deadpool.
Deadpool? Yeah.
I like that because it was aimed at adults. I liked Deadpool, sorry. Wolverine, that was an adult movie.
Mm.
You know, Punisher, it's an adult series, even though it's a Marvel product. You know, I prefer that. I want some adult stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Deadpool was probably the only one I've seen because my wife's into it, and we've got a friend who's into it, so they go on their quote-unquote date together every couple months when the new one comes out. And, yeah, I hadn't really got into it, but Deadpool was definitely one that I was like, all right, this is funny. You know, after the first 5 minutes, like, all right, this is funny. I'm in. So I enjoyed it for that aspect more than, I guess, the superhero aspect. But not that I didn't enjoy the superhero. It's just not my thing. But, yeah, it's very funny. And I enjoyed the second one, too. There's something going on with audio. Sherwin, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you just fine. Can you not hear me?
No, I got you. I hear you.
It says your bandwidth is a little low.
Oh, well, super. Whose is?
Mine or Rusty's?
Rusty's.
Oh, well, great. Let me make sure I'm on the right internet.
Let's say I'm
You're
getting on
kind
the
of
phone
choppy
with
on my end.
Okay. Well, let me do this. Let me switch over to the other one.
Okay.
Sometimes it likes it. Sometimes it doesn't. Well, what in the world? I want to be on this one. All right. 1 second. It might blip on us. Hold on. And we're back. How's that?
Sounds good here.
Cool. All right. So it's one of those things. Happens every. I don't know why this laptop decides to connect to that one, but every once in a while it connects to the. I have dual band Wi-Fi, and the 5 gigahertz band is way better than I guess the 2 gigahertz band. It's the same speed. It's just one is I guess the band is like less in use in this area, so it doesn't interfere as much. Something like that.
I don't know. I'm connected on 5G on mine, so that's all I know.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Well, folks, we ready to start this thing off?
Do it.
All right. I think, Weaver, I can't remember if you've been on since we've been using Zoom, but I might not disappear as badly as, as we did in previous installments of this thing. So you'll probably hear some portion of me, and then I'll bring you on as usual. All right. So with that, let me bring up all the stuff, and there we go. All right. We are recording now. Welcome, y'all! That's right. This is a Pregame Engineer Tailgate Mayor Racing Podcast, episode number 274. It's January 5th, 2021. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace in the PTM Podcast Studio in Atlanta, Georgia. This podcast is sponsored by you. That's right. Go to patreon.com/PETM. Join the What's Drink Club for as little as $1 a month. Get that free koozie and some stickers. Best part is, every cent in 2021, we're donating to sponsored drivers, so join the PETM posse today. Be a part of the sport you love. This week's show brought to you by our official sponsors at that $5 and up per month level. Here we go. Aaron Bearden, Robert Keblinger, Coleman McClain, Eric Kepner, Ryan Kiefer, Patrick Cleary, Jeff Brown, Brennan Crowd, Kathleen McDonald, Brandon Carl, Rika Porter, Julie Bosley, Andy Beard III, Younger Motorsports, David Mullins, Patrick Johnson, Brett Morris, Crystal Smoke, Fred Rosado, Chad Knappett, Stacey Coleman, Lisa Chanana, Rick Houston, Sarah Anbari, Evan Roller, Matthew Bishop, Harry Bolzania, AJ Evangelista, Les Miller, and Jumpy Bob. Woo! I think I got it. Not too bad. We all know what the deal is. We're going to bring him on from the PETM North Carolina studio. Pre-game engineer in the show.
Sorry, I'm laughing. I think Matt just held up a sign. Oh, yeah. From North Carolina by way of Atlanta. How about, this is a basketball state, right? So everybody's all fired up about Duke, North Carolina, and NC State and Wake. Georgia Tech dirty whooped the rear end off of Wake Forest this weekend. So go Jackets.
You know what? That's coming off a win over North Carolina, coming off a win over Kentucky. Like, what are we doing out there? Or maybe what other folks do.
I think the boys are playing some good b-ball.
There we go. I'm digging it. Happy New Year, Sherwin, by the way.
Yeah. It's 2021. First show.
Woo. Let's do this.
Kicking it off.
And helping us do this, back on the show for the umpteenth time, Associate Motorsports Editor for Auto Week and Auto Week Racing, founder of Short Track Scene and multi-time PETM PhD. On Twitter, at Matt Weaver, AW. It's Matt Weaver. What's up, Matt?
Let's appreciate for a moment that it's the first time this face in live living color is on the show, because I finally, like 3 years after the rest of all of us have been doing video conferencing and Zoom and Google Hangout and all this stuff, I'm actually on board now because I've been made to. For the longest tenured listeners and watchers of the show, I would always be the still face because I was so stubborn, or I was driving more often than not. I was driving down the road. I think the last time I did this with you guys, I was coming back from Darlington for the first race weekend back. And so I was driving for that one. But now we all have to do Zoom, which means I know how to do Zoom. So I'm actually live and in color.
I know, man. It definitely
is. We're breaking barriers.
We are.
I'm not going to lie. I had your picture ready to go on the on the regular deal, and when you showed up in living color, I went, oh man,
plot twist.
We can show this. Yeah, plot twist, big time. We keep talking about it on the show, but we're with you on kind of the Luddite side in terms of we finally switched over to Zoom, whatever it was, Sherwin, 3 or 4 months ago now, and haven't looked back. It's hard to even remember what all we were using before, between the hotline that we had and other things. I think the phone number is about to go dead on us at this point due to no use, but it was a cool phone number. It was local area code, hey PETM. So I lament that it's gone, but so be it. We're on Zoom now and doing our thing. But Happy New Year, Weaver.
Evolving.
How are you? Uh-oh.
Front row.
I lost everybody. Mr. Weaver.
What happened? Yeah.
I was telling you Happy New Year. How you doing?
Oh, well, this is probably what happened. You said Happy New Year. I can't even accept that it is a new year because 2021 so far feels like an extension of 2020. I joked on New Year Day. I said that it January 32nd, 2020. So as far as I'm concerned right now, it's technically December. I apologize. December 35th, 2020. So I don't know if it's a new year yet. I'm trying to, get into the spirit. It feels very familiar though.
Well,
Happy New Year.
It's really like March 313th.
Yeah.
Is where we're at. until we see a game change moment.
Right.
And whatever the graph looks like, we're probably still just cruising on March from last year.
Yes. No kidding. Well, Mr. Weaver, what are you drinking on tonight? You know how we start this thing.
I do, and I've actually, as usual, I've come prepared. I've got a very good answer. It's not a traditional one. Typically I say something like a venti cinnamon dolce latte with skim milk, or I might go, cinnamon Coca-Cola. But this is unorthodox too, and this is especially unorthodox for me. this is a jug of water. And let me tell you why I've got the jug of water. I need to do better to drink more water. My dad's been a diabetic for a decade. My mother finally was diagnosed with diabetes a couple of months ago. There are times where I'm starting to become aware that my sugar intake is not what it should be. And I'm drinking way too much coffee, way too much sugary coffee, way too much cola and soda and Pepsi and Coke. So I try to keep this with me at all times, and I keep filling it up. So what am I drinking? I'm drinking this Crystal Springs natural spring water. How about that one for a Weaverism?
That's a good one. It's got all the number of words required for a Weaver drink, which
it does. Yeah, it's got to be at least 10 syllables.
Right. Now you said you've been refilling it. So is that still the crystal one, or is this like the Matt Weaver? Whatever the what do you call that? The bathroom.
Okay, so what it is now? It's because I still am a pretentious coffee drinker. I don't necessarily like the way that my tap water tastes with coffee. So I will buy the spring water and pour that into my Keurig, and then I will fill the remaining whatever's left of the jug with tap water. So now it's a mix. It's a mix of tap water plus the spring water. But I've drank it a couple of times now, so it's probably just the tap water. But now, like, the dilemma that I face is I'm trying not to use as much plastic too. So I don't know if I want to go back to the store and buy another jug because I don't want to use plastic. So it's like, no matter what I do, there's going to be some sort of internal dilemma that I'm going to have to wrestle with. And, it's always something.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Sherwin.
I really hate plastic, though. This is a thing. Like, I've recently invested in the, and I know a lot of people will fight me on this, and it's cool. I totally respect their opinion and the fact that I sound crazy for it. I've bought the metal straws. I'm trying to use the metal straws. I'll take the metal straw with me when I go on the road. So when I order like the fast food cup of soda, I'll stick the metal straw in there. So to me, it feels a little disingenuous to talk about how I want to use less plastic, and I bought the metal straw, and here I am, buying plastic bottles of water because I don't want to put tap water into my coffee. I'm such a hypocrite.
Well,
that's actually pretty hilarious.
I try to do what I can to do the save the earth stuff. So like I never get a straw because I never use one. So every time they give me one, I just throw it away, and then I kind of feel bad because here I am just throwing stuff away. So I always say no straw now. And then I realized, like today, I went down to Chick-fil-A and got a sandwich and got my drink, unsweet tea for me, and I said no straw. And then I had to laugh because I'm holding a styrofoam cup that I'm fixing to throw in the garbage can, and went with I'm saving the earth though, no straw. So
here's the deal though. So like I am a big proponent of the McDonald's Coca-Cola. I don't know if there's like actual cocaine or what in the McDonald's Coca-Cola, but apparently like McDonald's has put so much market data research into their straws and into their formula that the size of the straw, which is slightly larger than your standard plastic straw, is that size because all their data shows that makes the Coke taste the best.
Huh.
So you can't really replicate that without the straw or with the metal straw.
Well, they now do like any size. They've been doing it. I say now. I think they've been doing it for like 5 years or something over at McDonald's. Any size drink for $1. And if I can remember, because sometimes I'll drive over to the Kroger and I pass, and I'm talking about the Kroger is 1 block from our neighborhood, and of course I'll drive because I'm fat, but I pass the I pass the McDonald's on the way there, and I'll just go get a Coke Zero or something. And I'll pass it back on the way back and go, what was I thinking? I could have just rolled in because you can ask them for no ice. And so now you've got 32 ounces of Coke with no ice for $1, as opposed to I just paid $2 for a 20 ounce. So the market of scale, or whatever you call it, economic of scale, is working for them, I guess. And you're right though. If I bring it back and I use it for let's be honest, I'm using it for a mixed drink, and if I get regular Coke and I'm using that for a mixed drink, it will definitely taste very different than like a bottle of Coke or something. So yeah, McDonald's got something going.
High syrup content.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I would suspect. I mean,
Nothing.
all right. Dead space.
You mean something?
I don't know how much time that we want to. Like, you guys have the numbers in front of you. I don't know how many people are watching this, but I imagine every time that I talk about metal straws or 15-syllable coffee drink, your ratings are going down the tank. So, like, I don't want to be responsible for tanking the ratings. I don't want to be the anti-Nielsen of this show. So we can keep going on about cinnamon Coca-Cola and McDonald's Coca-Cola. We can have an entire 1-hour show dedicated to soda. One more anecdote before we move on to racing. I have always wanted to do this. Honestly, God, this is true. I have always wanted to, in my spare time, which currently doesn't exist for all the reasons you guys know. I want to start like a craft soda blog where I do nothing but like review. For Christmas, I got like a 6-pack of this craft root beer. Mm-hmm. So good. And it's just another reminder that I want to like review it. I would love to review Cinnamon Coke and Holiday Sprite or whatever. But between Auto Week and Short Track Scene and all the other things that I have going on, that's all I need is another website. But there is a world in which I want to do that.
You've mentioned Cinnamon Coke a couple times. Is that a thing?
Evidently it is.
You don't know?
I'm in the world headquarters.
I knew where this was going to go.
Of Coca-Cola, and I don't know about Cinnamon Coke. He's looking.
I'm looking. I was thinking maybe I had like another bottle somewhere, but I'm actually, this is sad. I'm down to my last bottle, and oh my God, I can't believe you guys don't know about this. So last year they came out with cinnamon Coca-Cola, and I am a cinnamon guy. I'm a cinnamon guy in general. I've got some cinnamon candles. I got multiple cinnamon candles. I love cinnamon. I've got the cinnamon toothpaste. I got the cinnamon air spray. I got the cinnamon broomstick you can buy at dollar store. I like all things cinnamon. I'm a big cinnamon junkie. And I had been saying for years, cinnamon coffee, I can go on. I'd been saying for years, the one thing I want a cinnamon cola. And so Pepsi came out with one a couple of years ago. It was called Pepsi Fire. And it didn't work for me. Pepsi kind of has a citrusy undertone to where Coke has more of a brown sugar undertone. And this is like the soda blogger in me coming out right now. I can break down sodas like I can motorsport packages. Like, this is a great blog. One of these days is coming. But I wanted like an honest to God actual cinnamon Coca-Cola. And it came out last year. And it was everything that I wanted. And they discontinued them in December of last year because it was a seasonal only drink. And I went on this campaign. All you got to do is like look up my personal Twitter, look up @JMattWeaver and Cinnamon Coke, and you'll see all these tweets about it. I was drinking these cans that I found on Amazon, on eBay, through like August of this year. And these cans expired like in May and June. But I just kept drinking them because they were so good, and I kept buying them. But finally, come August, I couldn't find them anymore. Gone. No more. And they brought it back this year. And they brought it back only as a 20-ounce bottle. And I kept buying them and buying them and buying them. Now I'm down to like, I think we're down to 10 more. I've got one more in the fridge. And I've got 6 more coming in the mail. My friend Luis Torres out on the West Coast, he mailed me some. I bought some off of him. And I've got 7 more at my fishing camp. So it is so good. It's too late to find it this year. But if you like cinnamon, if you like soda, cinnamon Coca-Cola, it's the shit.
You heard it right here.
Oh, I love it.
From the horse's mouth.
Quote me.
Maybe that'll be the episode name.
That actually would be funny. Cinnamon Coke is the shit.
Yes, please, and let me retweet it and send it to Coca-Cola as a form of free advertising, and the fact that they should send me like a year-long steady supply of Coca-Cola. 26,000 Twitter followers. Keep sending them to me. I'll keep tweeting about it.
So how do you ration?
That's our first commercial I think that we've ever done.
Yeah, right. Sponsored by. How do you ration it though? Like, and by the way, we're in the off season, so anything goes at this point, you know. But when you're down to the last bottle, when do you go?
Is it the off season?
Well, for us at least, we don't have a race, prior race to talk about, so we BS the first 30 minutes of it. But when you're staring down that last bottle, what makes you go, tonight's the night?
So basically, because where'd it go? Because right now I'm in this mode. The rule is I try to drink one with dinner, one cinnamon Coke per dinner that I cook here at the house, and whenever the last one goes, the last one goes. Now I tricked myself last year, or earlier this year. I had bought a couple of them and I kept them at my fishing camp. And so I thought I was out. I thought I was completely out. Then I go back to my fishing camp like in September or October, and there's 2 cans still in my fridge there. And I thought that I hit the jackpot. It's like I thought I was done. They may never bring it back, and I've got 2 more. So, I think that once I finish up these last 15 bottles or whatever, that's going to be it. It's going to be 15 nights in a row of having cinnamon Coca-Cola. But maybe I tricked myself, and there's one more somewhere around the globe.
I like the live every day like it's your last mentality. So if I've got 15, then I'm not pacing them out the rest of the year. Who knows what happens? It's crazy times right now.
Well, here's the other thing too. So the bottles, apparently, the contents of a Coca-Cola bottle, and I don't know if this is true, but it has to be, they expire quicker than the cans, because the cinnamon Coke in the cans that you bought in December were still good through like June. And so these cinnamon Coca-Cola bottles that I bought this year in November and December, they actually expired earlier this week or late last week, January 3rd, I think they said. So a couple of days ago. So actually every bottle that I drink right now is like 2 days expired. So every one that I have each successive day, 3 days expired, 4 days expired. So I need to like drink them in the next 15 days. Because when I get to the 15th, that's going to be 20 days expired.
So
and I don't know how good that's going to be.
Yeah, can you tell right now? Like this one's not as good as 3 weeks ago one.
Not the bottles. When I got to the cans, this is how pitiful I am. When I got to the end of the cans last year, they expired in June. So I got to be like July. I opened one and I remember I was eating spaghetti. And I ate a big thing of spaghetti, and then I opened the cinnamon Coke and I drank it, and it tasted a little flat. It kind of had like, I'm like, did I get COVID? Did I like this cinnamon Coke isn't good. I must have COVID. I can't taste. Can I smell anything? Well, this Coke smells like a Coke. I'm gonna pick up the pasta. It smells like tomato sauce. The sense of smell is there. Okay, so it's probably not COVID. So finally, I turned the can upside down and I looked at it, and it said it expired a month and a half ago. I'm like, huh. Well, bottoms up. I was drinking them for another month, and the conclusion that I reached was that a 2-month-old expired cinnamon Coca-Cola is better than anything else that I could have drank.
Well, I dig it. You know what? Let's bookend it like this in the longest "What You Drinking" segment that we've ever had. Sherwin, what you got tonight?
I went and got me another 6-pack of this Voodoo Ranger because that's fun.
That stuff's good. I think
it's pretty tasty.
Speaking of cinnamon, I mean, you can't hide from me on camera there. I've seen you nipping on something on the side.
Fireball.
There it is.
Cinnamon whiskey.
I figured that was it. Oh my goodness! I took my hat off to scratch my head, and this is a mess. It's an ordeal.
Mine too.
Yeah, right. Oh man, I consider every day. I consider it when I see more hair in the shower. And then I'll see a picture of me from behind, and I'll go, okay, that's thinning out. That's I've got to comb that over a little bit, and just try to. And eventually, it's just gonna be gone. That's it. Or just straight up, number one guard, something just to show that there's something there. But yeah, Weaver, you've been rocking the bald stuff for so long. I don't even know if we knew you beforehand.
No. So this actually happened. So I'm 32 now. This happened like 2 months into college, and the only thing you need to know is if you find my high school graduation picture, it shows you every reason why this was the right thing to do. And At some point, I'll tell you what, the next time I'm on the show and you guys need a promotional picture, I will send you my high school graduation picture. And it is terrible. And we can just have an entire conversation about why it had to go. And thank God I've got the head for it, because otherwise, I mean, there's some bald folks. You guys know. You look at some people and it's like, stick a hat on because like it doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
And luckily, I like to think this works for me.
Hey, it's what I've always known for you. So it's like, yeah, that's just what Weaver looks like. If you showed up with maybe a wig on next time or something that looks plausible, I would probably double take and go, okay, what's the story here? What's going on?
Hey, Sterling Marlin, everybody knows your gig.
Yeah, that's funny. So let's see here. Diving right in. You know what, Sherwin? I brought a Citra Goza. It was the only thing in the fridge, and I think my wife bought it. So we'll see how it tastes.
That'll happen.
But I've gotten into the sours, man. I think we've talked about it plenty of times, but now I'm just deep. If it's a sour, I'll try it. I like these things. So it took me a while though to get into that. But there's one in there from New Realm, I think, that is it's like a tea, and it tastes kind of like but it's a sour. But so it doesn't taste like sour tea. It tastes more like tea and grapefruit juice or something, if that makes sense. So it's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Oh, I definitely got into sours a little bit too. I mean, that'll happen when you go to a place that gives you points for drinking new beers.
True. Oh, man.
Because we all keep score, by God.
Yeah.
That's speedometer's for.
Yeah. So, Sherwin, New Year's. You went up to Michigan. Tell us some stories. How was it?
Well, you know what? We didn't really get all that too wild. I mean, so I had an adventure in the goddamn airport, though. I think I might have got on the naughty list with that, because I didn't cuss or anything, which is kind of funny considering I opened this segment with me cussing. But I was not a happy camper because we didn't take off till like 130 minutes after I was supposed to already have landed. So you can imagine. And it was, I could hear the radios. So, and I knew what the transmission was because I deal with major manufacturing. I know when electric techs are talking to electric techs about what they're working on. I understand what they're saying. And I'm like, so your primary and your backup computer systems went down at the same time, and then you changed the wrong buses to fix that problem. So they didn't have an answer for that, as you might would imagine, because they don't speak that language.
Right.
That's the conversation I would have with the former Submariner maintenance leader at the plant that I work at. Like, you did what? And it ends up being wrong F-wording part.
Oh, man.
Okay, I guess we move on from there. But yeah, so I didn't get there till 8. I was supposed to have been there at 2:50.
Ugh.
So I missed out on some of the stuff, but we went around. We went to where the Tiger Stadium is, which is really cool. And we went to where old Tiger Stadium was, which used to have a really nice little ballpark thing going on, and they just let that go. Detroit gonna be Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the hair thing for a minute, I got one thing. Hopefully this shows up here on the camera. But if you guys really want to get creative with the next image you guys lead me in with, let's go with this one. I don't know if that shows up well.
Oh, yeah, it shows up good.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Look at the
wig.
mop top.
When the hell was that?
But that was me just having some fun and imagining what if.
Oh, if you had hair.
Yeah.
That's funny.
See, that's
Just
weird.
That is what it was.
That's weird.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So the next time, and I've told you guys this story before. The next time that I get kicked out of a racetrack, remember the whole Nashville situation?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the next time I get banned, or if NASCAR gets fed up with my anti-rules package bullshit, and they get rid of the hard card, and they don't want me coming back no more, that's going to be the plan. The plan is, and I shouldn't, like any villain, I'm going to say my plan out loud. I'm going to bring out the wig. I'm going to grow a big, thick beard, and I'm going to come up with an assumed name. And then that guy is going to cover NASCAR and bash the high downforce, low horsepower rules package. Wasn't me.
Yeah.
I'm for that, and I don't know who that person is, but I'd like to meet him.
Right.
If he exists somewhere in the world and is watching this or going to listen to this, introduce yourself,
You should
because
have him
that
on the
would be fun.
PTM one day. I don't know.
There we go.
Maybe
Yeah.
that might be a good. I mean, we have had Rodney Sandstorm, so
True. Yeah, true. Sherwin, did you do anything for New Year's Day or New Year's Eve? Did y'all go or anything crazy?
you know what? It actually wasn't crazy at all. There was a few people that came in and out during the day on New Year's, but we mostly just acted like fools when the ball dropped, as one would do. By that point, I'd been drinking since 8:30 a.m. So I was in good shape.
You're doing just fine for that.
I had a full gas tank. There was not a fuel mileage race.
Oh man, yeah. So we ended up on a let's see, we did like some trivia with Serena's parents over Zoom or something, and then we sat with friends on a Zoom call at midnight, and it was way more fun than I thought it would be. It was similar like when COVID started, Sherwin. We were all getting on Zoom calls and hanging out and stuff. At first I thought, this is going to be lame. This is going to be stupid. I don't want to sit here in front of a computer and do it. But we actually had a good time. Everybody was lively. Everybody was their innards were lubed really well, so that worked out. My wife was she had the champagne bottle, just kept filling mine up, and I'm like, honey, this is going to be an interesting night if we keep doing this. She's like, just drink it. And I'm like, okay. So. It was a good New Year, good way to ring in 2021. And speaking of, in 1 week, Mr. Weaver, Chili Bowl. Are you excited?
Yeah, Chili Bowl Midget Nationals.
Yes, sir. What are some of the headlines that you're looking at right now? Obviously, we have all these drivers in from NASCAR. You know, all the names that we know. What are some of the people that we don't know that deserve some attention?
So I'll be honest with you. I'm working on that right now. I mean, we all know that Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell have combined to win the last 3 races. Before that, Rico Abreu had won 2 in a row. So this race kind of runs in streaks. So it wouldn't be a huge surprise to see Larson roll off another. We know that Chase Elliott, fresh off of winning his first Cup championship, is doing the Winter Motorsports World Tour, did the Snowball Derby, doing Chili Bowl, doing the Rolex. But I'm actually, let me pull up my notes here, actually. So I'm working on a story right now about some of the fresh faces that we need to know. And I'm starting to talk to them a little bit and kind of put the pieces together. We've got Cannon McIntosh, who won preliminary night last year, Buddy Kofoid, who Christopher Bell had this great line last year. He said that he's the next to me. This guy who had no money, all the talent in the world, got caught in the right situation at the right time with Keith Kunz Motorsports. Christopher Bell said he's the next me, and I thought that was such a great line. Kaylee Bryson, who contended for wins, driving for Keith Kunz earlier this year during Indiana Midweek, looked really good. But the most interesting story, and I haven't wrote it yet, and I feel so bad that I'm doing the show before I wrote this story. I wanted it done by today, and it just didn't happen. But one of the most interesting storylines is actually Taylor Raymer, who was a dirt shoe out of Oklahoma when she was a preteen, 8, 9, 10 years old, winning a bunch of stuff in like outlaw carts and mini sprints. And she went to school. She went to college at the University of Oklahoma, where she was a cheerleader. Professional cheerleader. Some of the toughest athletes, the baddest athletes on the planet are competitive cheerleaders. If you guys don't know about competitive cheerleading, they could kick all of our ass 1-on-5, no problems. Like, they are bad. But she pretty much didn't race. She raced here and there, but she was in school. She has a 4.0 GPA at the University of Oklahoma. Wow. And she's wrapping up her degree this year. She'll graduate in May. and she's going to go back full-time racing again, which I think is just this really remarkable resume to have won a bunch of races as a preteen and early teenager. You're full-time nationals. So I don't have that story put together yet. I've talked to Taylor. I've talked to David McIntosh, who is her car owner. I'm going to talk to her dad tomorrow and kind of tell the family side of that story. But that's kind of a quick rundown. I mean, there's so many stories. Chase Briscoe trying to get back into the A main. Tanner Thorson is going to be one of the favorites. We talked about Rico Abreu. He's the man too. So I'm looking forward to it. In a year, again, I count this pretty much as an extension of 2020. In a year where we've had so few things feel right and normal, even with a 75% reduction in capacity, it's still the Chili Bowl. I know for everyone watching on TV, it's still going to be the Chili Bowl. It's going to be a good time. I love this race. Can't wait.
So
That's awesome.
break it down for us, because I don't think we talk about the Chili Bowl every year and kind of preview into it. What's the format of the whole thing, and how does it all work? Because if you look at the entry list, it's intimidating to read down.
313 the last I checked.
Yeah.
You could enter and get in. I kid you not. This is true. Every year there are about a half a dozen drivers, and I'm going to say drivers very loosely. It's people who have no actual racing background or experience who enter a car every year just to say they started the alphabet soup on Saturday. And the best example of this, and I hate to give him a hard time, but he knew it when he signed up for it. The guy who does the World of Outlaws video, Dirt Vision, Ross Weiss.
Mm-hmm.
He loves the Chili Bowl, and he always wanted to say that he started the Chili Bowl. So he basically rented a car. There's an entire cottage industry of team owners who have these old, beat up, years old chassis. They loan them out on the cheap, and you and I could go start the Chili Bowl. You're going to be eliminated in the first race on Saturday, but you were there, and you were part of the driver introductions, the parade, the whole thing. Your question. The point is, you can enter. We all can enter. It's not an enter. It'd be bad, but I could. You could. You're going to have 300. 20, whatever. It's going to be down a little bit this year because of COVID, but